It's the SKOR North Twins Show. Baseball!
All right, SKOR North Twins Show. We got our guy, Coach Trev, with us here like we do every Tuesday on this Twins Show podcast feed and YouTube channel. We'll see how Coach Trev has taken the temperature of the Twins after losing 8 of their last 10. Some serious butt kickings in the last week since we've talked to Trev. So if you haven't already, hit the like button and subscribe button here for Minnesota Twins content. Trev joins us every week. You can also find him on the call for Twins games this year. Back here for the Brewers series this weekend, correct, Coach Trev?
Yeah, for both of them. I'll be,
nice.
So it's Brewers in Seattle, I believe.
Yeah.
All right.
It'll be nice and sweltering here finally. We've had to wait like 2 months for summer, and I think you're going to get like 93 degrees just in your veins here this weekend. So
I don't love that because we got 100 out here right now. We spent the weekend, basically had to be in the pool or else you had to be inside. So, but I'm excited to be back in Minnesota, and I think my family's coming out, so we're gonna spend a couple extra days there and just kind of use the lake and have a good time, man.
Nice.
Yeah.
Were your kids old enough to like remember when you played in Minnesota or no?
No, my son was born 2015, and I left after the 2016 season, so he was just a little baby.
Get to show him Coach Trev's old stomping grounds.
They've been back a few times. I think this time it'll resonate a little bit more with them as they're a little older. My son's 9, my daughter's 7, so I think they'll kind of grasp it. And now my son Teddy's like super, super into baseball, so it'll be pretty cool.
Love it.
Very nice. Trev, what's more concerning for you when you looked at this last start of the last 10 games where they've lost 8 of 10 and now some significant injuries piling up? Or was it the beginning of the year where they stumbled out of the gate? They start 7 of their first 20 are just wins. Is this stretch of rough ball, has this been worse than the first stretch where they got off to such a poor start to begin this season?
Gosh, that's a great question. They both stink. Good job.
Thank you.
Snaps for you. What a
fantastic question.
Oh,
great.
They both stink, obviously, but I think when you struggle out of the gate, you have high expectations. That happens, but the caveat is, hey, we got all year, man. We got all year, and we got some guys coming back, and I think it's worse now because it's injury related, and you just can't do anything about that. It's to sum up Royce Lewis and what's gone on with him, it's so hard, man. And like some of the quotes he has, like I know he's trying to be, well, I guess not trying to be upbeat, but he's trying to figure out a way to talk through it. I don't know what there is to say. I don't know what he needs to do to avoid soft tissue stuff, man. I dealt with it myself, but I think this is better just because they're injuries with almost like, where are you gonna go from here? Like where are you gonna go? These guys have to come back. Is it gonna be a reoccurring thing? It seems like it has been. So I think right now it is worse. And there's no like let up in the schedule either. Cincinnati's been playing really good ball. Milwaukee's been playing good ball. Seattle, we know that was a tough series against them the last time we played them. They've been struggling a little bit, but they're still a dang good team. Then you got to play Detroit. Like it's not a good time to be an injury riddled lineup.
Yeah, and the fact that it's not like he's been running full throttle to first base, and he's been pretty careful. And he even said one of his quotes was like, 99% of these ground balls you're out anyways. So just all right, don't stretch it if you don't have to. And so for him to come back and be cautious and thoughtful about it and then still pull the hamstring again is just and the way that he talked about how the game is bullying him.
Yes.
And I mean, it's like, yeah, he's searching for mentally and physically for it.
I think he's got to, and again, like I'm not saying Royce Lewis is doing anything that is causing this. Not that I know of. He's not a guy that goes out there and has a ton of beers after every game. I don't even think I've ever even seen him have a beer.
That's why Judd pulls his hamstrings.
Yeah, like if
I'm
Judd
in great
pulls
shape, dude. I don't know what
we
you're talking about. Oh, my hammies are great.
Man. I don't know what the solution is. Like I think that he possibly, and speaking of Royce here, I think he possibly has to try. He's got to do something drastic now, and I don't even know what that means. If it's a diet related change, if it's whatever he has to do hydration wise, a different routine in the off season, if he's got to go and start doing yoga or just something to elongate the muscles. I don't know what it is. Again, I struggled with soft tissue stuff, but when I look back, I'm like, I think maybe I had too much caffeine in me. Maybe I was dehydrated, even though I tried to do my best to be as hydrated as possible. I think I probably could have done a better job in that regard. Like, looking back, I don't know if that's the case with Royce, but I think he does have to look at the totality of his, preparation and try to change some things up, because whatever is going on right now, whether it's just bad luck or not, like it's not working. I think there was a stat where he's been on the field for 30% of possible games.
Yeah.
34% of possible games. Like it's not sustainable for a career. So you really have to look yourself in the eye and say, I got to do something different.
What's crazy too is when he was in the minors. So, and by the way, he didn't play a lot of minor league baseball. He stole 86 bases. Speed was, I wouldn't say the number one factor of his game, but he could move a little bit. You look at the speeds percentiles in Baseball Savant when he came in 22 and 23. They're like in the 75th percentile. So it's like a good above average speed. And this year, I mean, because of the hamstring, he is literally in the 13th percentile now in sprint speed. Like, he doesn't move. So you also removed a factor of his game that, I mean, yes, is that going to prevent him from not hitting better? Like, no, but like when you're that athletic and that fast, that's now a faster game that's just gone. So yes, I bet, and I even know some of the things that I know that dude is taking precautions and doing his absolute best, obviously, to stay healthy on the field and certainly while he's off it. But it is absolutely frustrating to see another first-round overall pick. I mean, no, Buck was the second overall pick, where the first 4 years of their career are just plagued by ridiculous injuries that leave a lot of fans perplexed.
Yeah, and again, like you said, he's doing the things that he's supposed to be doing, but there are times where, you might be missing something. Like, I don't know if he needs, and again, I feel like we're piling on for something that could just be completely random, but, maybe there needs to be a blood test and we need to go see what kind of food he's taking in and is it affecting him that way. I don't know what it is, but at this point, I feel like you got to pull out all the stops, right?
It's fair.
Yeah. And to Dex's point too, I think the disheartening thing here as a baseball fan and as four guys who watch the Twins a ton, the Buxton into Royce situation, because both of these guys are potentially generational talents. I mean, when we do get a glimpse of what Buck can do or could do at times, I mean, this is a special player. And I don't know what the odds are of having two guys that probably should be superstars have this many things, but it really stinks as a fan, because fans, the Twins, have been robbed thus far of watching what could have been, I think, greatness, Trev.
I agree. And it's to the point where it's overshadowing, our top starter out and another one of our starting pitchers out. Like, this overshadows that because it just happens so often. And you're right. Like, to go from Buxton to Royce and having to deal with the injuries, it's tough for Twins fans. It makes it hard to really like dig your claws into a season. I feel that sentiment from Twins fans where it's like, they want to be in, but things like this, the losing streaks keep happening, and then the injuries keep happening, and maybe. The Twins go on a run, and all of a sudden, we're top of the wild card, and we're doing it, and then something brings you back down, and it just makes it really hard to buy into a complete season because you're almost starting to expect these things to happen, and there's nothing that the Twins front office or ownership can control there. I guess it just seems like bad luck right now. It's all it is.
I just looked this up on Baseball Reference. And it's a total hypothetical, obviously, but can you imagine if you would have gotten full seasons of Byron Buxton for 10 years and then meshing in with like 4 full seasons of 23 through 26-year-old Royce Lewis, what this team would be capable of? And I'll give you the numbers. Per 162 game averages, Royce Lewis career, and this includes like a pretty bad season this year productivity-wise, but his per 162 average is 31 homers, 101 runs driven in, and an OPS of like 800. like a well above average, and that includes like a really bad slate of plate appearances this year. Byron Buxton, it took him because he came up when he was 21 and he was tinkering with his swing and stuff. So
Yeah.
if you take him starting at age 25 in 2019, 7 years through this year, per 162, 36 homers, 92 RBIs, 18 stolen bases, and an 844 OPS. So a 129 OPS plus.
And premier defense in center field.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're getting like, maybe half a season out of these, like on average. And then Buxton's been hurt for the 3 trips to the playoffs. He's been like either a pinch hitter or just out because of injuries in the second half of the year, Trev. But man, imagine those guys healthy all together.
I don't even know what there is to say about it.
I know, it sucks.
Trying to like come up with some sort of analysis for it or, talk through it. But it really, the only thing you can say is, yeah, it sucks and it's bad luck. And man, I wish these guys were still on the field, and I wish Pablo and Zebby were not hurt, and I wish the run was continuing. And now I think things have to change quickly, or else it's going to be a deadline that's probably going to disappoint Twins fans, I'd assume.
That's what we're tracking. I mean, that's
right. We went from sell everybody at the beginning of the year to, man, we're going to make additions and we're going to go on this run and it's going to be awesome. We're going to make the playoffs and everyone's looking good. And if Royce just gets back to who he is, man, pair him with Byron, it's going to be great. And now it's, what reliever are we going to trade at the deadline?
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah, I think the Devers trade, which basically, I know there was obviously disgruntlement between Devers and ownership and manager and the Bregman. Like, him getting traded, I don't think was surprising. The timing of the trade was certainly surprising. And you don't see, number one, you don't see a lot of blockbusters happen like that regardless. And you definitely don't see them happen on June 15th when you're still 6 weeks from the trade deadline. So I guess, does this start to spur some activity? The Twins are not going to hit sell today, right? Like, they're not, and they probably even shouldn't yet. But if a Devers trade like that happens, basically out of the blue, does that mean other trades are potentially on the horizon? And then if you're the Twins, when do you hit the button to say sell or buy, but mostly sell?
I don't know if it'll spur a flurry of movement now, because I think there are teams that are still kind of like on the cusp and have 4 weeks, or I guess a little bit, about a month to decide where their future is this season. So I don't necessarily think it's just going to cause a flurry of moves. And also because the return was pretty light, I think in most people's opinion, obviously the money goes there as well, but the return was light. So it's not like a team with players to sell is like, oh man, they got this for Devers, like let's go try to get some of this, hot market. I don't think it's pointed that way. So yeah, I don't think that's going to happen, but yeah, this is the stretch. It's a month here to prove to your front office whether to buy or to sell, or maybe you convince them to stand pat in the Twins case, but this is the next 4 weeks of baseball are going to decide what they do.
All right. A positive, damn it. I always have to be the guy to go homerish, positive. We're gonna win, Twins. Let's talk about Brooks Lee.
Yeah.
Brooks Lee is playing well, and this is not to introduce a negative, but I do see a guy who could be your shortstop of the future as well. Like, he's got a glove there too.
He's got a glove everywhere. I think he can play anywhere. I'm assuming it's going to be him at third base for the foreseeable future, and he can play there. I've seen him pick it there.
Yep.
But yeah, he's a I don't know, I guess we say this about a lot of players, but he looks so much mature and looks like he's been in the big leagues so much longer than he has been. And I think that's about as good of a compliment as you can receive as a baseball player. Like, he looks the part. He looks like a big leaguer. You can say that about Roman Anthony with the Red Sox, but he still is, a week into his big league career, so he's got more to prove. Like, Brooks Lee is quietly, obviously getting on base, hitting streak, all that good stuff. But you just watch the way his demeanor on the diamond and the way he works and, the at-bats that he puts up. And yeah, he's going to be a big leaguer for a long time. There's no doubt about that. If he stays healthy, he's going to be he's gonna do great things. He's gonna make a lot of money. All these homes that he's searching for in the clubhouse with me on Zillow, he's gonna be able to afford those. I told him that. I said, just stay on the field, bro. You'll be able to buy that house. Maybe not right now, but you'll be able to get it. But he's I don't see him going back to the minor leagues ever.
Yeah,
like he's that type of player.
Yeah. So are we talking like lake homes or like what are we talking about?
He wants to just buy a house in California. That's the problem.
Oh, in California. Okay.
Yeah, he's from San Luis Obispo, wants to be there. We were doing that when I was in Sacramento. We were just talking about California real estate, and it's not easy.
Good luck with that, Brooks.
Yeah, but I did tell him. I said, I bought my house, and I thought I overpaid for it, and that was 10 years ago. And it turns out I didn't overpay for it. It's been great. So you never know. You never know.
Was that your first like major league house, the one that you've had for 10 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was a good. I mean, you've had it for 10 years though. You could have moved in.
I don't think I'll ever move. It's awesome. I actually told my kids that yesterday. I said, you guys better be thankful we had this house. It's a great house. Gosh dang, Dad's got to go and talk Twins baseball all the time with these guys. I can afford this house.
Exactly. Yeah, these negative Twins discussions paying Trevor's bills. Really.
No, Brooksley, I don't know. I guess I don't say that often. There's not too many guys who I'm like, this guy's a big leaguer for life. And I guess the other one I thought Eddie Julian was going to be that way, and it hasn't really panned out. So I've been wrong before, but Brooksley just seems different. Number one, he can play defense, and when you have that as your floor, like you can pick the ball, and then his swing and being a switch hitter, everything plays in his favor.
Says a lot too that they didn't call up either him or Jose Miranda when Royce went down.
Why is that? I didn't really understand that. I know they like Kersey there for some like late inning speed and defense in the outfield, I guess, but seemed like this more seamless move would be a Miranda.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy because basically, like, imagine in spring training or even like spring training early storylines saying that Jonah Bride and Cody Clemens, two guys who aren't even on the 40-man roster of the Twins and playing for different organizations, are actually going to be in a higher pecking order than Edward Julian and Jose Miranda on June 15th. I mean, they believe in those two dudes. And look, there's been moments for both those guys. So, like, they certainly have deserving of a roster spot. But, I mean, it feels like I don't want to completely give up on Julian, but, like, Miranda, I'm basically there. I don't know. Like, I don't see a lot with Jose. I know he had an awesome stretch last year in the summer, but it is pretty nuts that they basically have passed by those guys for two veterans who they claim via DFA in the middle of the season.
Yeah, that's I mean, I'm not around the club a ton. It's been definitely not in like at the AAA level. So I don't know if there's something else going on. Maybe like some, and again, this is all just I'm thinking out loud here. Like, is there some attitude? Is there some like, because the organizations don't like when guys go down and then just act like they don't have any eagerness to get back to the big leagues, and they're just kind of like wallowing in their own misery. And that happens quite often. I feel like I've definitely did that at points. I don't know if that's happening, but a lot of times, yeah, you'll get passed up if you're not showing, that you want to work through something and make these adjustments they're telling you. I don't know if that's going on. Maybe you can answer that a little bit better than I can, Dex, but it's shocking to me. And more so, I agree, Julian. I thought he had the hit tool wrapped up and he was working defensively, and that was always going to be difficult for him, the defense part. But I thought offensively he was going to be able to do things like the plate discipline. I thought that was just going to play so well at the big level. It ended up being a detriment to him as he just like couldn't pull the trigger on pitches, like basically like, and then his swing got really loopy for me. And man, that's a big miss for me. I thought he was going to be a guy.
I actually have off of your sort of like minor league environment. You went down a little path there. I have a dumb baseball question for you on that front. Just a quick shout out though to North American Banking Company. You can take this to the bank. North American Banking Company, 6 locations in the Twin Cities. It's a Minnesota-based bank, and very trustworthy in that if you're looking for an actual conversation with a human at the bank that like houses your finances, they're there for you. And if you're looking for cutting-edge online tools and safety and security of your accounts, North American Banking Company, very serious about those things. So whether you're buying a home or maybe you're buying your first major league home, you need help with the mortgage, and maybe some guidance, or maybe you're just looking for a better checking and savings experience. nabankcode.com/Mackey to learn more. That's nabankcode.com/Mackey. Member FDIC, equal housing lender, Dex.
Yeah, and also our friends at Northern Soda. I got my Sunday purple right here. Some purple soda. For the Keenan and Kel people, I know he liked orange soda. I like purple soda. In fact, we're going to be at the end of the month on trade deadline day, likely maybe talking about selling. We will actually be hanging out at Northern Soda on the trade deadline day. More details to come on that, but we're going to be at their tap room in New Brighton. They have great sodas. You can find them all over local grocery and retail stores like Target and Hy-Vee all over there. So go check out Northern Soda to learn more.
I had one of those root beers a few weeks ago.
Root beers are good.
And they're so good. One more shout out to Dennis Kirk. DennisKirk.com. It's riding season this weekend. I can see Coach Trev and his whole family on a large bike of some kind, maybe an ATV. 95 degrees, the wind blowing in the Plouffe family's hair. If you're into riding season, go to DennisKirk.com to check out over 185,000 parts, apparel, and accessories. All the top brands with the most stock available compared to their competitors. DennisKirk.com. Check them out at DennisKirk.com. So, what are the differences in, like, as you go from like rookie ball, Gulf Coast League, where everyone's like 19 years old and bright-eyed and trying to become a professional baseball player? What are the differences in minor league environments and clubhouses, like behind the scenes, from when you enter in at the bottom level to like AAA, where there's these 10-year career minor leaguers that have been grizzled and hardened by the game? They have families potentially. What are the different levels like?
Yeah, I mean, I think you kind of hit it a little bit there. Early in your minor league career, it's more, hey, we're here and it's pro ball. We're having fun. We're learning all these things. The big league seems like a mile away or a million miles away. Like, it just seems so far. So that tends to be a more like team inclusive type atmosphere. And then as you get higher up and you see guys start to get called up and you want to be one of those guys, I think it becomes less about the team and more about, hey, what do I have to do to get the call? And that's why, look, Miranda and Julian, they're not happy right now. I've told this story before. I've never once, one time in my life drank alcohol because I was like upset. It's just not something I do. Like, will I have some beers because I'm happy and like, watch a sunset on a lake? Yeah. The one time I did that, I was in Indianapolis and they called Matt Tolbert up instead of me. And I was so mad. And part of it, I was mad at myself because I felt like I should be on that roster. I should be playing better. And then the other part, I was just mad because, I thought they got it wrong. So I went to a TGI Fridays in Indianapolis and just sat at the bar by myself with a bunch of strangers, started having some pops, buying rounds for the entire bar. I eventually went into, this is a true story. I'm embarrassed about it, but it's also a funny story. I went into the bathroom and washed my hands, looked in the mirror, and just got so mad. I punched the towel, like the paper towel dispenser, and knocked it off the wall.
Oh.
And then I was like, I need to get the fuck out of here. And I left. But I was so mad. Like, there is, at the top levels of an organization, there is resentment around. And look, sometimes it's hidden more, and you're going to have a bunch of guys that get along, and it's less. And then sometimes, man, like my first year in AAA with the Twins, there's a bunch of salty vets. And that can make the atmosphere not so fun. So yeah, it definitely changes as you go up the organizational ladder for sure.
So what? But by the end of this TGIF stint, what was your beer count?
I don't even know. I think I was doing what's the Long Island iced teas?
Now
beer was not.
Let's go down smooth.
Okay, so you were really.
I told you this was not a social.
Right.
Let's have a few pops. This was like, I need to drown my misery.
Were you at least mixing in some like mozzarella sticks or something to coat the base?
No, I was just at the bar. I was making friends. It was
calamari.
Loser type mentality. Okay, I want to make sure everyone knows. Don't do that. That's loser mentality. Don't be that guy. I was that guy. I was just upset. And
were you like griping to strangers about what actually happened? Like, hey, I'm a professional baseball player and this and that, or were you?
I didn't. I don't believe so.
Okay.
That doesn't. I don't remember doing that. I think I was just there, and we were just all. I think all of us were just losers at the bar at like 2:00 or something.
Yeah.
Like that,
So 2 p.m. This is a
I'm
great.
thinking,
was-
I'm
yeah,
thinking like
no.
9 p.m. No, this
No,
is like afternoon.
I believe
Did you
we
have a
had
game that
I believe we had like a day game, and then we were still in Indianapolis. So it was like, I don't know, it was like 3:00. We had like a 12:00 game, and it was after the game. I just went straight there. Didn't even think about it. So yeah, it was. I'll never forget that because I'll never do it again. At least I hope not.
Yeah, that was.
It's a good tale, though.
I did
Yeah, it's
pull
a
up
good story.
one of the your first year in Rochester would have been '08. This so the story you're telling is probably a couple years later, but
Yeah.
boy, there's you pull up some of these rosters
Oh.
from like minor league teams, and it's
What's the guy
well,
named Howie that was on that team?
Howie Clark.
Howie Clark. He was
34 years old on that team, and there's 21-year-old Coach Trev.
he used to just fucking say things to me that were just so mean, and I was like, what is going on, dude? Like, it's not my fault. What?
Howie Clark. I've never heard of Howie Clark, but I did have the roster open. So this is a classic example of you got to make a decision in life. He's a 27th round draft pick in 1992 by the Baltimore Orioles. Huntington Beach High School, by the way. You guys
92 draft pick?
He was drafted in 1992 out
There's
of high
no
school.
way that's right. There's no way that's right.
I'm dead serious. Because he was born in 1974.
Yeah,
you were
he's 51
teammates.
now.
You know, you were teammates when he was 34-year-old career minor leaguer.
This is awesome.
And so he gets drafted. And again, 27th round, but he gets his first taste in the major leagues when he's 28 and thinks, all right, here we go. This is it now, right? How long do you chase it for a guy like that would be the question. And for him,
Yeah,
it was...
That's one of the reasons I like they've pared down the minor leagues a lot. Is because there was a lot of guys that chased it probably too long.
Yeah.
And that's your decision. But at the end of the day, the guys, if you're a career minor leaguer, I'm not gonna say you waste years of your life because you're, chasing a dream. I think that is super valuable. But you leave the game with nothing. You leave the game with nothing except fun experiences and maybe some connections. But you're out of the workforce for 6-7 years. So you're behind there. You didn't make any money in the minor leagues, any substantial money. So I'm happy that it's pared down now. There needed to be less guys in the minor leagues, and that might sound like harsh, but the truth is when it was 7 different leagues, it still only mattered about the top 2 or 3 players on each team. The rest of the guys were just there to play games.
Yeah. It felt like that was a big deal when they pared it down. Like, it's cheap major league owners, and it's like, God, there's still 120 organizational minor leaguers.
Howie Clark is
there's
such a great
plenty.
name.
Howie
I love
Clark
that
also
name.
called
Howie
up.
Clark.
Also called up before Plouffe in 2008. He did get 4 plate appearances.
Wow.
There was like this one chance they were talking. I was in Double A, I think in 2007 they were going to call me up. And
Wow.
Didn't happen. But no, I mean, I don't know. I think Howie was like fine to me sometimes too, but he was also mean. Who else was on that team? I think
Jason Repko on that team?
No, that was
Is that later?
Repko was more like, and
how'd you
Repko
even
came
find,
from the
how'd you even
Dodgers.
find that?
Baseball Reference.
Baseball Reference, man.
You just gotta
It's one
click
of the-
on the year.
Yeah, so if you go to like the minor league, go to
Oh,
like
I got it
your
now. Oh, Brian
So-
Busher
dude,
too. Oh,
Tommy
Brian Busher.
Watkins.
Tommy.
Brian.
Oh,
Busher,
Tommy
man.
Watkins was on that
Yep.
team, huh?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
were teammates. Brian Busher, nice guy. He also could throw some digs at me every once in a while. You know who was awesome? Danny Graves. I wanna shout
Oh,
out Danny
the
Graves.
man, Reds legend. Danny.
Danny Graves was in. Wow.
Yeah, so he was not 34 years old because the Twins brought him in.
Well, Twins love to bring in
Oh,
guys
Philip
like that,
Umber. Phil Umber, part of
Yeah.
the Johan trade in there on these teams.
Well, they
feel like
they probably saw, Trev, that you were, on the rise, right? You're a young guy trying, and so if I'm an old guy, I'm like, screw this kid. I'm not gonna help
Exactly.
him.
That's what I was
Exactly.
gonna
It's
Pretty boy.
I was the youngest guy on the roster, yeah.
You also caught like Francisco Liriano on his. I mean, he made 19 starts off, I think, the Tommy John surgery from a couple. It was like a long recovery process. And then transitional Glenn Perkins era there too before he became a badass closer for like 4 years. Glenn must have been kind of grizzled on by that point, 25 years old.
Oh, Glenn could be one of the saltiest human beings on planet Earth. It actually took Glenn and I some time where we developed a nice relationship. We got there though. Now he's turned into a softie now.
Yeah, well now he's got a bunch of daughters and
they've softened him up a lot because he was not like that back in the day.
Man, but the pitching on I'm just looking 08 Red Wings. Dunsing, you had Perk, you had both Mulvey and Umber from the Johan trade climbing up the ladder. Slowey and Swarzy were on that team too. Man, that was Brian Bass, Judd, your guy.
Brian Bass. Japan,
right? Swarzak at 22 years old, coming up there, 45 innings pitched to a 1.8.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Didn't he? And I think he shoved 7 shutout innings in his major league debut with the Twins.
He came up in 2009.
Yeah,
he got called up.
He had a nice. I remember him having I think I may have been at the game too. He had a really nice major league debut. He turned into a solid reliever
with the choker necklaces.
Yep,
that's right.
Oh God,
no, he hit the. He timed it perfectly. There was like a year there where relievers, all of a sudden, the front offices started valuing relievers. And just out of nowhere. They used to just value closers, and then it was like, no, wait, there's other guys that can pitch in high leverage situations. And Swarzak had like a nice year. I think the Brewers gave him 2 years, like 17 mil or something like that.
Yeah.
He timed it up perfectly.
Yeah, he wanted second round pick, right? I feel like we should just do a show. Maybe you guys kind of do this on John Boy all the time. If we just here it is. Here's a free idea for all of us. It's called Baseball Reference Rabbit Hole. And you put a timer on it. It's a 40-minute episode, and someone opens a Baseball Reference page, and you have no idea where the episode's going to end, but it starts on a random Baseball Reference page.
Well, there's you guys kind of do that with ref guess, like that.
Yeah,
you'll show the screenshot, and you guys got to guess who it is.
That's a fun game, and you know what? It's like you think you're never going to get one, but
speaking of getting drunk by myself on Friday, that's exactly at 11:30 p.m. I turned on ref guess. I watched all the recent Sports Jeopardy one with Jake. And I watched another one too, and I was just shouting, Freddie Garcia, just shouting answers at the screen.
Were you at TGI Fridays? Or
I was not at TGI Fridays.
Yeah, buying drinks for the whole bar?
The whole bar. I got it, guys.
Jamie Moyer. Yeah, just yelling out names.
What a hell, though, man. Like if you're a drunk at a 3 p.m. in Indy on a arbitrary Tuesday, and you get this guy who's like, I got you covered. Like, that'd be your lucky day.
The bartender had to know. If I threw my first Long Island iced tea in, he's got to know something's wrong. I should probably ask this guy if he needs some help or something.
I don't think bartenders, I think they're just like, yeah, you know what? Guy is mad. He's screwed up. On to the next customer.
Oh, man. I haven't had one since, I don't think. That's probably a good thing. A Long Island iced tea is not
I haven't had one
you want to
in
mess
35
with.
years.
No. 7 alcohols, if I'm not mistaken.
Let's change it. Let's do some with the family here this weekend, huh? Let's
go to Fletcher's. Go to Fletcher's and get some Long Island iced teas.
I told you I'm bringing the crew out. We're gonna sit on the lake for a little bit.
Nice.
I think the series with the whoever it is, the Mariners ends on a Thursday, and we're staying Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love it.
Very cool. Love
it.
Well, hey, hit the like button, subscribe if you love AAA stories from Trevor Plouffe at a local TGI Fridays. This is the place for you. And if you have screenshots of Baseball Reference pages that you just also scream at like I do on Friday night, you can also share that in the comments section too.
And if you mildly resent Matt Tolbert, click that like button and the subscribe button.
Shout out
to doing right now,
Howie Clark. That's all I know. Shout out Howie Clark. Hope you're doing well.
Dude, Howie Clark almost made it to like actual society retirement age, just grinding out AAA baseball. Good for that guy.
Love it. Hit the like button, subscribe button. Go check out Trev's work on John Boy as well. SKOR North Twins Show. We'll be talking at you soon.